Hi, I'm Thomas from the K-12 Mathematics Office at Boston Public Schools. Today I'd like to introduce you to Desmos, a website that offers valuable instructional tools and classroom activities. You can access Desmos by going directly to the site www.desmos.com. The Boston Public Schools Math Office strongly recommends Desmos as an interactive resource to support student exploration of mathematics content, visual and graphical representations of that content, and connections that cut across different representations of content. It offers versatile and generative tools for students to use that allow them to pursue their own mathematics questions. Importantly, Desmos connects students to the standards for mathematical practice by encouraging them to use mathematical tools, model a range of situations with mathematics, and persevere in solving mathematics problems. In other words, Desmos is a tool that helps students think and reason like mathematicians. The tools and activities are available to everyone for free, even without having an account. Let's start by discussing Desmos' tools. Desmos offers 4 tools: a 4-function calculator, a scientific calculator, a graphing calculator, and a geometry tool. First, let's discuss the 4-function calculator. This is just a virtual version of a basic calculator, allowing the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This could be useful for quick calculations by students for simple problems. The next tool we'll be looking at is more sophisticated. Desmos' scientific calculator has all the same uses as the 4-function, while introducing trigonometric functions, exponents, and absolute value. While using the tool, if you encounter an error with your input, a red triangle will appear, telling you the problem and recommend possible solutions. This tool's free access is particularly useful to students who might not be able to otherwise access a calculator. Accessibility features also exist for visually impaired students. Perhaps the most useful tool is Desmos' graphing calculator, which incorporates the functions of the scientific calculator while automatically graphing equations. To use the tool, simply type equations into the formula bar to see them graphed onto the plane. Equations can be easily duplicated or turned into tables by clicking on the gear above the equations bar and clicking on the Duplicate or Convert to Tables button. You can identify an equation's intercepts by clicking on them in the plane. Graphs can also be hidden from view by clicking the icon to the left of the equation. You can maneuver around the plane by clicking and dragging the screen. Display settings can also be found under the Wrench tool, where you can precisely limit the window's domain and range. This tool could be implemented into a classroom to help students visualize how changing a function changes its graph. Take, for instance, a graph of f of x is equal to sine x. Graphing f of x is equal to 2 sine x. F of x is equal to sine 2x. And f of x is equal to sine x plus 2. Side by side helps students visualize how changes the equation will change the graph. You could save these equations if you're logged into a Desmos or Google account. This lets you prepare a lesson plan and implement it at any time. The final tool we'll briefly discuss is the geometry tool. This tool lets users construct various objects, which allow easy visualization of points, lines, shapes, and angles. You could take a look on your own and see how it can fit into your classroom instruction. More information about how to use each of these tools can be found on Desmos' website at learn.desmos.com. Desmos also offers a series of classroom activities that can help uncover and consolidate key mathematical concepts in engaging ways. Some of their activities are bundled into categories, including conics, exponential, and linear systems. More activities can be found on the Activities homepage or the Most Popular section. Let's take a look at a lesson that can illustrate the use of linear equations. Land the plane, as found under the linear bundle. On the site, you'll find a description of the activity and an expected duration. Towards the top right is the Teacher Guide button. This lets you view Desmos' suggestions as to how to implement the activity and things for teachers to consider. Teachers can see the student side of the activity by clicking Student Preview. The Land the Plane activity supports students by deepening their understanding of linear equations by having them try to land a plane down a specific straight path. You can lead an activity by maneuvering to its page and clicking Create Class Code. This will generate a unique code that students can type in on the student site to access the activity. In this activity, students will try to work through helping a plane fly down a runway in a straight line by applying an understanding of linear equations. They'll start by reviewing how equations can show specific answers and how approximation might not be good enough when it comes to important tasks, such as landing a plane. Each slide in the activity offers sample responses that can help guide instruction. As the instructor, you'll be able to watch responses come in live to monitor progress. After solving tasks involving linear equations, this activity ends by letting students create their own problems that their classmates can work through. During some activities, students have the opportunity to learn together. Let's take a look at an example. The activity, Polygraph Parabolas, has one student choose a graph from a selection while the other narrows down which graph they chose by asking yes or no questions. Desmos has a description of the activity and more information about its classroom use under the About This Activity section. The next section, the Student Experience, gives some tips on how to become familiar with the game and how to introduce it to students. The Teacher Experience section elaborates on how to implement the activity and how to best support student learning. This activity lets students ask questions about the graph of parabolas. Does the parabola open up? Is the y-intercept positive? Can you see the line in all quadrants? As one student asks a question, the other responds yes or no to help narrow down the graph that was chosen. Through this activity, students can practice using mathematical language through an interactive game. Different types of activities exist for different math concepts. Take a look through Desmos' catalog to see what you can use to best support instruction in your classroom. Additionally, Desmos can be a resource to be used during science class when students are asked to examine and interpret data. Desmos can also be a resource during art classes when students are exploring 2D and 3D geometric shapes, considering geometric transformations, or creating animations. As stated in their mission statement, the activities in Desmos invite students to create their own mathematical ideas and encourage students to share their creations with each other. Desmos has a lot of potential to provide supplementary activities to the core curriculum. We encourage you to familiarize yourself with these tools and activities so that you can comfortably use Desmos to support student learning. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you can successfully implement Desmos into your classroom. Like and subscribe for more technology tips.